Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we are diving headfirst into the world of kids' content online.
Buckle up.
Yeah, we're talking Cocomelon controversy and some pretty disturbing trends in Minecraft content on YouTube and YouTube Kids.
Right. And you know what's wild is this stuff is everywhere, right? Like on the one hand, you have Cocomelon. I mean, it's a global phenomenon, billions of views. So many parents depend on it, right?
Oh yeah.
Educational, keeps the kids occupied, and let's be real, a little bit of peace and quiet.
Oh yeah, a little bit of sanity.
But there's a darker side that we're going to uncover.
Oh yeah. YouTuber SunnyV2 basically called Cocomelon the most evil channel on YouTube.
Whoa.
Strong words.
Yeah.
And their critique is all about how this hyper-stimulating format, could actually be harmful to these little viewers.
Right.
Maybe even leading to, get this, addiction-like symptoms in toddlers.
Wow.
And affecting speech development. I mean, that's interesting.
Yeah. And there's anecdotal evidence from parents, seriously describing their kids just glued to the screen.
Yeah.
Totally zoned out, like little toddler zombies.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, like what about that TikTok trend?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
The kids just sprinting to the TV when that Cocomelon intro starts?
It's like a Pavlovian response, like instant mood change.
Yeah. A preschool teacher actually said that toddlers would drop their snacks mid-bite to watch.
What?
I mean, come on, the power of this stuff.
It's undeniable. That's crazy.
And then there are parents who are worried that their kids are picking up bad behaviors.
Oh, no.
From the show. This mom said her kid learned to say no, no, no from a song where the baby, right, is refusing to brush their teeth or go to bed.
Oh, geez.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I see.
So it's like, are they absorbing these things?
Yeah, and SunnyV2 even suggests that Cocomelon uses these super bright colors, kind of like slot machines.
Yeah.
And it's almost hypnotic to keep viewers hooked.
Yeah, and the camera cuts. Like, it's so fast, I can't even keep up. It's like a sugar rush.
It's like you said, a sugar rush.
Yeah.
Visually.
And some people are saying it's like the same addictive mechanism as endless scrolling on TikTok.
It is. I totally agree. You know, toddlers learn by repetition.
Right.
That's how their brains are wired. But some child development experts, like Jerica Sands and Dr. Kristen Summer, they're worried that Cocomelon might be exploiting that.
Right.
Maybe even impacting attention spans and development down the line.
Right, because if a kid is just constantly bombarded with this fast-paced stuff, how are they going to focus when they need to, like read a book? Or
or play a board game.
Or play a board game.
Anything that requires that sustained attention.
Right. And Cocomelon's response to all of this is that they're committed to educational content.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And they say their shows are not meant to replace playtime or social interaction. And, I think a lot of parents would say that this show has helped their kids learn things.
Of course.
Yeah.
And there are tons of parents who are like, my kid knows their ABCs. They know their colors.
Yeah.
All because of this show.
Totally.
But it does make you think, are we, as parents, becoming too reliant on these screens to entertain and teach our kids?
Yeah. It's like, are we outsourcing parenting to YouTube?
It's a slippery slope.
And is Cocomelon maybe a symptom of a bigger problem with kids' content on YouTube, a platform designed for a way bigger audience?
Totally. And speaking of problems, we have to talk about YouTuber Caleb Assalti's investigation.
Oh, yeah.
He goes deep into some disturbing stuff with Minecraft content aimed at kids.
Yeah.
Where it seems like making money is more important than keeping kids safe.
Right. And what's scary is he talks about this impersonation tactic.
Oh, yeah, the copycats.
Yeah. These channels are copying popular, family-friendly creators like Atmal, Mean, all the big ones.
Right.
They're using familiar characters to trick the algorithm.
And the viewers.
Right. But instead of those fun, wholesome adventures, kids are seeing violence, sexual stuff, and their favorite characters being exploited.
It's really messed up. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
You trust this character, and then bam, they're doing something totally inappropriate.
Right. It's heartbreaking. And Caleb Assalti, he found examples like popular Minecraft characters getting kidnapped, tied up with all these adult themes.
It's awful. And we have to think about the impact of this stuff, especially on young minds.
Yeah.
Early childhood is when so much brain development is happening.
Yeah.
And being exposed to violence and these inappropriate themes can really mess things up.
Right.
I mean, studies show that seeing violence, even in cartoons, can make kids more aggressive.
Right.
And not to mention the anxiety, nightmares, and a messed up view of relationships.
Totally.
And then there's YouTube Shorts.
Oh, yeah.
Caleb Basolti says the format itself, the short videos, no custom thumbnails, makes it way easier for this stuff to slip through the cracks.
Right. And it's so easy to just scroll and scroll and scroll.
It's that boom, scroll, boom, scroll, boom, scroll.
Right.
And these creators, they're like, even a quick glimpse, just a flash, people are still seeing it.
Right. And that counts as a view.
Exactly.
It's messed up.
And this reminds me of that whole Elsagate thing from a few years back.
Oh, yeah.
With all those disturbing videos disguised as kids' stuff.
Right.
YouTube said they fixed it, but this just proves that they still haven't.
Or they don't want to.
Or they don't want to.
Because they're making money.
Right.
It's all about the money.
I get this. Caleb Basolti down this whole network of channels run by a guy named Neil.
What?
And he uses direct messaging to talk to these young viewers.
No.
And even sells adult content.
Oh, my God.
Like zero regard for kids' safety.
It's scary.
It's like a predator hiding in plain sight.
You said it. And the worst part, YouTubers who try to raise awareness about this, they get silenced. Caleb Salty talks about the Maturbik. This guy got demonetized by YouTube just for speaking out against this stuff.
Seriously. They're silencing the people trying to do good. That's insane.
I know. It shows where their priorities are.
Profits over people.
It's all about the money.
Always.
Even if it means putting kids at risk.
It's a sad reality.
And it makes you wonder.
What are they going to do about it?
Yeah.
And it feels like YouTube is just reacting, you know?
Yeah.
Like only doing something when it blows up.
Right, like they're playing whack-a-mole.
Totally.
But the moles keep popping up faster.
Exactly. But we got to think bigger here. It's not just these creators or even YouTube. It's a whole messed up system.
Right. We've talked about creators, YouTube, but what about advertisers? They're the ones funding this whole thing. Their ads are on these channels, even the bad ones.
Right. And advertisers want to reach as many people as possible. And kids' channels, with all those views, they're like a gold mine.
Totally. But do you think these advertisers actually know where their ads are ending up?
It's probably a little bit of both, right?
Yeah.
Like some might not know.
Yeah.
And YouTube might not be telling them everything.
Right. So are they just not paying attention, or is YouTube hiding stuff?
Maybe both.
Yeah.
Advertisers need to be way more careful where their money goes.
All right.
And YouTube needs to be honest about where those ads are. But you know what? We have power too.
Yeah. What can we do?
We can support brands that actually care about this stuff.
Okay.
And call out the ones that don't. Like, imagine if parents just boycotted products from companies advertising on those bad channels.
Right. Hit them where it hurts.
Exactly.
It's like voting with your wallet. But how do we actually fix this whole system? Can we even make a safe space for kids online?
It's tough, but I think we can. YouTube has got to step up big time.
Okay.
They can't rely on these algorithms and just reacting after the fact.
So what? They need, like, actual people checking the stuff?
Totally.
Wow.
More human reviewers. Better tech to find and delete the bad stuff. Proactive, not reactive.
Okay, so more humans, better tech, and be proactive. What else? What can we do?
We need to give parents and teachers better tools too, right?
And, like, navigate all of this.
Exactly. Think about it. We teach kids about stranger danger in real life, but what about online?
Right.
Are we doing enough to teach them about online danger?
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, we need digital literacy for kids and parents.
Absolutely.
Teach kids how to be smart online, spot fake stuff, stay safe.
Right. It's a basic skill these days. And, you know, with all this talk about screen time, it's easy to forget about good old-fashioned play.
Oh, yeah, like real-world stuff.
Exactly.
Right.
Getting kids away from those screens.
Their play is super important for development, right?
Absolutely. It's how they learn, explore, figure out the world. It's not just fun and games. It's crucial for their brains, their bodies, their emotions.
Okay, so break it down for me. What is play, really?
Yeah.
And why is it so important?
So play is anything a kid chooses to do, right? Driven by their own curiosity, not because someone told them to.
Right.
It's all about exploring, imagining, having fun. Through play, they learn problem solving, creativity, language, communication, all that good stuff.
So it's like a giant learning playground for their brains.
Exactly. It's not just about academics, though. Play is huge for social emotional development.
Oh, okay. Like how?
Well, they learn to work together, share, deal with their feelings, empathy, self-control, all that.
Right, so it's not just about learning ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. It's about learning how to be a good person.
Exactly. And let's not forget, running around and playing is good for their bodies, too.
Yeah, of course. The physical part.
It helps with coordination, balance, all those things that set them up for a healthy life.
So play really is a superpower.
It is.
But how do we make sure our kids are getting enough of this good stuff?
That's the million-dollar question. We can create these play-rich environments, indoors and outdoors.
Okay, like what?
Think open-ended toys, lots of different materials.
Oh, I see, like stuff that lets them use their imagination.
Exactly. And then step back. Let them lead.
So it's about setting the stage and then letting them direct the show.
You got it. And remember, play doesn't have to be fancy or expensive.
Yeah, like building a fort or playing tag. Simple stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But are there different types of play that are better for different ages?
Oh, that's a good question. Like, as kids grow, do their play needs change?
Totally.
Yeah.
It evolves right alongside them. In those early baby days, it's all about the senses.
Okay.
Touching, tasting, seeing.
Right. Like those baby toys that make noise and have different textures.
Exactly. It's all about stimulating those senses and building those brain connections early on.
Wow. So those early years are like laying the foundation for all the fun that comes later. What about toddlers?
Toddlers, oh boy. They're all about movement.
Yeah. They're little bundles of energy.
Running, jumping, climbing. They're figuring out how their bodies work and testing their limits. They're also starting to talk more, so you'll see them pretending, singing, and listening to stories. They're like little sponges, soaking it all up.
So they're starting to explore the world in new ways with their bodies and their words. What about preschoolers?
Preschoolers are all about imagination and making friends. They love playing make-believe with each other, creating these elaborate worlds.
Oh, yeah, like they can turn a cardboard box into a castle.
Exactly. And their language and thinking skills are growing too, so drawing, writing, and counting become more fun for them.
So they're building on all those early skills and using their imagination to make sense of the world. What about older kids, like those in elementary school and beyond?
Play is still super important. It might look different, though.
Okay, like how?
They might be into organized sports, board games, stuff with rules.
Right, more structured stuff.
But free play, where they're in charge, is still crucial.
So it's not about ditching play, it's about it growing with them.
You got it.
But with all the schoolwork, activities, and of course screens these days, it feels like play is getting squeezed out.
It is.
Why is that? And what happens if kids don't get enough play?
It's a bunch of things. There's pressure to do well in school, so more kids are in tutoring and extracurriculars, which leaves less time for free play.
So it's like this pressure cooker of achievement that's pushing play aside.
Right, and then there's screens.
Yeah, always the screens.
Kids are spending more and more time in front of them, and that often means less time for active, imaginative play.
It's like screens are this silent thief stealing away those precious hours of exploration and creativity.
And then there's safety concerns.
Oh, right.
A lot of parents are afraid to let their kids play outside alone.
Yeah, I
They're
get
worried
it.
about traffic, strangers, all sorts of dangers.
So it's this combo of academic pressure, screens, and safety concerns that's pushing play to the sidelines. But what happens when kids don't get enough of it?
Well, they might struggle with learning, with controlling their emotions, even with moving their bodies properly.
So it's not just about missing out on fun, it's about missing out on developing essential skills for life.
Exactly. And studies show that not playing enough can lead to anxiety, depression, anger problems, even trouble paying attention.
Wow, that's serious. Play is not just a luxury, it's a necessity.
Exactly.
So how do we turn this around? How do we make sure kids get enough play?
It's going to take all of us,
Mm-hmm.
parents, teachers, everyone. We need to make play a priority, not an afterthought.
Okay, what can we do specifically?
We need more play-based learning in schools. Some preschools are already doing this, but we need it in elementary schools too.
So it's not just recess, it's actually part of how they learn.
Exactly. Play is a great way to get kids excited about learning.
Makes sense. What else?
We need more places to play too. More playgrounds, better parks, public spaces designed for play.
So make it easy and fun for kids to play.
Exactly. And parents can make play a regular part of their kids' lives. Set aside playtime, limit screen time, create fun play spaces at home.
So it's about making a conscious choice to prioritize play.
Exactly. Remember, it doesn't have to be fancy. Just give kids the chance to explore, experiment, and have fun.
I love that. It's about giving them the freedom to be kids.
You got it. Now let's talk about another important aspect of child development: sensory experiences.
Ooh, sensory stuff, like those play mats with different textures for babies.
Exactly. But sensory experiences are crucial for all ages, not just babies.
Really? I thought it was mostly a baby thing.
Nope. They help us understand the world, connect with others, even manage our emotions.
That's fascinating. So it's not just about seeing and hearing, it's about engaging all our senses.
Right. We've got sight, hearing, touch, taste, smell, Those are the big ones. And then we've got internal senses too, like knowing where our body is in space and our sense of balance. All of these senses work together to help us make sense of the world.
Wow, it's like a whole sensory orchestra. But how did these sensory experiences help kids develop? What's going on in their brains and bodies?
So sensory input actually helps build connections in the brain.
It's like building those neural pathways, those superhighways of information in the brain.
Exactly. And these experiences also help kids develop motor skills, language skills, even social and emotional skills.
Oh, it's like a ripple effect, one sensory experience leading to growth in all these different areas. Can you give me some specific examples?
Sure. Think about motor skills. Things like crawling, climbing, playing with different textures. All of that helps kids develop those big muscle movements and those smaller, more precise movements.
So it's about giving kids opportunities to move their bodies in all sorts of ways, to interact with their environment using their whole bodies.
Exactly. And for language development, hearing different sounds, seeing different things, and touching different textures helps build their vocabulary and understanding of the world.
It's like building a library of words and concepts, making connections between language and the world around them.
Right. And then there's social emotional development. When kids engage in sensory activities with others, they learn how to share, take turns, and cooperate. Sensory input can also be calming, helping them learn to regulate their emotions.
So sensory experiences are like a secret weapon for developing those social and emotional skills that are so important for building relationships and managing those big feelings.
Exactly. They provide a foundation for a lifetime of healthy relationships and emotional well-being. So how can we create these sensory-rich environments for kids?
It's about being intentional, right? Like providing a variety of sensory experiences that engage all those senses.
Exactly. Think soft blankets, rough sandpaper, smooth stones, squishy Play-Doh, fragrant essential oils, musical instruments, brightly colored toys, nature walks, even cooking activities.
Wow, it's like creating a whole symphony of the senses.
Exactly. And remember, every child is different. Some kids might love certain textures or sounds, while others might be more sensitive. It's about paying attention to each child's needs and creating an environment that feels safe and inviting for everyone.
It's like creating a personalized sensory experience, a buffet of options that allows each child to explore and discover what delights their senses. But is there a risk of overdoing it? Could too much sensory input overwhelm a child?
That's a great question, and it's definitely something to be aware of. While sensory experiences are usually good, we need to be sensitive to individual kids, especially those who are easily overstimulated. It's all about finding that balance, watching their cues, and adjusting the environment as needed.
So it's about creating a sensory environment that feels just right, not too much and not too little. Are there any other tips for creating these sensory experiences?
It's good to have a calm and predictable environment, especially for kids who get overwhelmed easily. Think about a quiet corner with soft lighting and calming sensory items, a place where they can go if they need a break.
Like a little sensory oasis, a place to recharge and regulate.
Exactly. And you don't need to buy a bunch of stuff.
Oh, good.
Sensory experiences can be part of everyday life.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Let kids help with chores like laundry, cooking, gardening.
Oh, I see. Those are full of sensory experiences.
Right. Different textures, smells, sounds, and it's all part of their routine.
You got it.
These are great ideas. I'm feeling inspired to create more sensory experiences for the kids in my life.
Me too. It's about helping them explore the world in all its richness. Now, with all this talk about screens and play, I'm wondering, does technology have any place in healthy child development? Can it be used in a good way?
That's a great question. Like, can tech be a good thing for kids?
Definitely. Technology can be awesome for learning when used thoughtfully. The key is to make sure it complements, not replaces, other important stuff, like playing, socializing, and exploring the real world.
So it's about finding that balance, right? Integrating technology into a well-rounded life, not letting it take over. But how do we do that? Where do we even start?
First things first, choose quality content. There are tons of great educational apps, websites, and videos out there.
So many options.
I know. Just be picky. Look for stuff that's age-appropriate, engaging, interactive, and matches what you want your kids to learn. Avoid anything that's just passive, overly stimulating, or mindless.
So it's about being choosy, not just letting the algorithms decide what our kids are watching. What else should we keep in mind?
Remember, technology is a tool. Don't let it replace real-world experiences. Use it to enhance learning and exploration, not as a substitute for hands-on activities, socializing, and getting out into nature.
Right, it's about finding that sweet spot between the digital world and the real world.
Exactly. And get the kids involved. Let them have a say in what they use and how they use it. Encourage them to explore their interests and be active participants, not just passive consumers.
So it's about raising little digital citizens, helping them make smart choices and use technology to their advantage.
You got it. And finally, set those limits. Create tech-free zones and screen time limits. Make sure they're getting enough sleep, physical activity, and face-to-face interaction.
It's about protecting those precious hours that are best spent doing other things that are good for their minds, bodies, and souls. These are all great tips for using technology in a healthy way. It's a reminder that technology is a powerful tool, but it's up to us to use it wisely. We need to help kids navigate the digital world safely and responsibly.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Now, shifting gears a bit, I want to touch on something that's often overlooked. Emotional intelligence.
Emotional intelligence, or EQ, I've been hearing a lot about that lately. Why is it so important?
EQ is basically the ability to understand and manage our own emotions and the emotions of others. It's crucial for success in life, for building strong relationships, navigating social situations, and developing self-awareness and self-regulation.
I've heard EQ is just as important, if not more important, than IQ. Is that true?
Both IQ and EQ are important, but research shows that EQ is a big predictor of success in life.
Really?
People with high EQ tend to have better relationships, more successful careers, and overall greater well-being.
So it's not just about being nice. It's about having the skills to handle life's ups and downs, to be resilient, and to thrive.
Exactly. It's about understanding yourself, understanding others, and using that knowledge to navigate the world effectively.
But how do we help kids develop emotional intelligence? Can we teach them, or are they just born with it?
Good news. Emotional intelligence can be developed. It's a skill you can nurture and strengthen with practice and guidance. And the sooner, the better.
So what are some things parents, caregivers, and teachers can do to help kids build their EQ?
It all starts with us. Kids are watching us all the time. When we express our emotions in a healthy way, handle conflicts well, and show empathy, we're teaching them valuable EQ lessons.
So we need to walk the walk, show them what emotional intelligence looks like in action. What else?
We can help them identify and label their emotions. Kids often have trouble understanding and expressing their feelings, so we need to help them put words to those feelings.
It's like giving them a vocabulary for their emotions, helping them understand their inner world.
Exactly. And it's not just about naming the emotion, it's about validating it. Let them know it's okay to feel that way.
It's about creating that safe space for them to express themselves without judgment.
Exactly. Once they can identify and express their emotions, we can teach them coping skills for managing those tough feelings. We all experience anger, sadness, frustration, but it's how we deal with them that matters.
So it's about giving them the tools to weather those emotional storms.
Exactly. Things like deep breathing, exercise, talking to a trusted adult, listening to music. There are so many ways to cope.
Great ideas. What else can we do to boost their EQ?
Encourage perspective taking. This means understanding other people's thoughts, feelings, and motivations. It's a key part of empathy and compassion.
So it's about helping them see the world from someone else's point of view.
Exactly. We can ask them questions like, how do you think your friend feels? Or, what would you do if you were in that situation?
Those are great conversation starters. What else?
Expose them to different perspectives through books, movies, real-life experiences.
Yeah.
Learning about different cultures and backgrounds can really foster empathy and understanding.
So it's about broadening their horizons and helping them appreciate the diversity of human experience.
You got it. And finally, encourage them to be kind and compassionate. Helping others is a great way to build empathy and develop a sense of purpose.
So it's about putting emotional intelligence into action, creating a ripple effect of kindness in the world.
Beautifully said. Emotional intelligence isn't just a skill set, it's a way of being in the world.
Those are powerful words. Thank you for sharing your insights on emotional intelligence. I'm feeling inspired to help the children in my life develop this crucial skill, to give them the tools they need to navigate the world and live fulfilling lives.
You're very welcome. It's something I'm really passionate about. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about another essential aspect of child development. Creativity. We often associate creativity with art, but it's so much more than that.
Right, it's about problem solving, thinking outside the box, coming up with new ideas.
Exactly. Creativity is essential for navigating today's world.
So how do we help kids be more creative? Is it something they're born with, or can we teach them?
While some people might be naturally creative, it's a skill that can be developed in all children. It's like a muscle that gets stronger with practice.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Mm.
Tell me how we can nurture creativity in kids. What are the secrets?
One of the best things we can do is give them open-ended materials and experiences.
Open-ended, meaning?
Things that can be used in lots of different ways, like blocks, Play-Doh, art supplies, things from nature.
So stuff that sparks their imagination and lets them experiment?
Exactly. And open-ended experiences mean letting them explore and create without strict rules or expectations.
So it's about giving them the freedom to explore, make mistakes, and find their own creative path?
You got it. When kids have the space to experiment and make their own choices, they tap into their natural creativity and develop their own unique style.
It's like creating a space where there's no right or wrong, where the process of exploring and discovering is what matters most. What else can we do?
Encourage curiosity and questioning. Curiosity is like the fuel for creativity.
So it's about keeping that sense of wonder alive, that spark of curiosity that kids are born with.
Precisely. We can do that by asking open-ended questions, giving them chances to explore, and celebrating their discoveries, big or small.
It's about creating a space where questions are welcomed and exploration is celebrated. What other strategies can we use?
This might sound strange, but we need to let them take risks and fail sometimes.
Wait, encourage failure.
It sounds weird, but hear me out. Creativity often means trying new things, stepping outside your comfort zone. And sometimes you're going to mess up.
But isn't that a bad thing?
Not at all.
Mhm.
Failure is how we learn. We need to change our thinking about failure.
From seeing it as a negative to seeing it as a step toward success.
Exactly. When kids are scared to fail, they won't take those creative risks.
It's about helping them bounce back from setbacks, teaching them that challenges are part of the process.
You got it. Now, another important thing is to expose them to different forms of creative expression.
So it's not just about art, it's about music, dance, writing, storytelling, building, inventing, all those things.
Exactly. Show them all the different ways creativity can come to life.
It's about opening their eyes to the possibilities, helping them find the forms of expression that light them up.
Exactly. And just as important as providing opportunities for creativity is celebrating their creative efforts. When kids feel appreciated and valued for their efforts, they're more likely to keep exploring.
It's about acknowledging their hard work, their process, their unique expressions, not just the end product.
Perfectly said. Yeah, it's amazing to see that. And, thinking about all this, and especially what we talked about with Cocomelon, the overstimulation, it makes you wonder if maybe part of the problem is that that type of content, it doesn't really let kids be creative, use their own imaginations.
Right. We talked about those fast edits, the bright colors, all that grabbing their attention. So are you saying that all that stimulation from outside, is it maybe blocking their own internal creativity and imagination?
Yeah, it's definitely something to think about because when kids are just watching, they're not actively creating their own stories, right? Trying out new ideas or figuring things out. And those are the building blocks of creativity.
So it's not just what they're watching, it's how they're engaging with it, just watching or actually doing. And it makes you think those quiet moments when kids are on their own, those could be super important for creativity.
Absolutely. Even boredom, which we think of as a bad thing, it can spark creativity. It's in those quiet times when they're not being told what to do that their imaginations can run wild.
Right. It's like with those open-ended toys we talked about. Give a kid an empty box and it can be a spaceship, a castle, anything. But a screen with its pre-programmed stuff, it might actually limit that imagination.
Exactly. We need balance.
Yeah.
Kids need time for both structured play and unstructured play, time online and time offline.
It's about nurturing the whole child, right? Giving them all sorts of experiences, sensory stuff, emotional connections, creative outlets. And that's a great message to end on, don't you think?
Totally. This has been a really eye-opening look at how kids develop in this digital world. We've talked about screen time, the importance of play, sensory experiences, emotional intelligence, even creativity.
And we've learned that even though the digital world has challenges, it also has amazing possibilities for learning and growing. It's up to us, parents, caregivers, teachers, everyone, to guide kids towards those good experiences and protect them from the bad stuff.
And to remember that the best ways to help kids develop are often the simplest: playing, connecting with others, exploring the world, and having the freedom to create.
So well said. To all our listeners, keep those conversations going, stay curious, and keep fighting for the well-being of the kids in your lives.
Their future depends on it. And remember, never lose sight of the child within each of us, that spark of creativity and wonder.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep playing.